Okay, on this one, it says the figure shows a graph of R prime, the rate of change of revenue, and C prime, the rate of change of cost of goods. So R prime is going up, it looks like. Cost of goods is going down here. Associated with the production of solid wood furniture as a function of X, the amount in thousands of dollars invested in capital. So the area of the shaded region is 13.29. So if we write that down on our graph here, 13.29, that's the region of, or area of that region. It says write a sentence of interpretation for the region of the shaded region, and then write an equation for the area of the shaded region. All right, so interpretation. All right, so let's write that down. Let me get my pen to show up here. All right. So basically, as the capital increased from 1.5 thousand up to $5.5 thousand, what happened? Well, the profit increased by 13.29. So that's kind of what I would say anyway. So as the capital increased from $1.5 thousand to $5.5 thousand, the profit, our revenue, I should say, probably revenue is going to be revenue minus cost. So our profit is going to be increased by was 13.29, and that's $1,000. Okay. Now, write an equation for that. Well, what we could do is we could write it kind of as a 2 pieces or 1 piece. If we do it like we've been doing with 1 piece, we're going to go from 1.5 to 5.5, and we're going to take our R prime of X minus our C prime of X dx. And that's going to equal what? Well, that's going to be equal to $13.29 thousand. Okay, so we're just taking, again, what we've been doing. This one minus this one in 1 piece, and we plug that in our calculator, but this time they gave us the actual answer, so we didn't have to plug it into our calculator. All right, what about the next one? A country is in a state of civil war. As a consequence of deaths and people fleeing the country, its population is decreasing at a rate of D of X. So D of X, it looks like, is going up. And the rate of increase of the population as a result of birth and immigration is I of X. It looks like it's going down per month. And the variable X is the number of months since the beginning of the year. So graph of D and I are shown here. The region R1 is 3690. So this is 3690. R2 is 9720. So we're supposed to interpret the area of the region R1. All right, so it looks like we have a lot of stuff. So we'll see if we can get probably stuff on next page. Yeah, we'll have to write on the next page. All right, so A, area of region 1. Well, it looks like that's going to be I, the number of people immigrating during the first month is increasing by 3690 compared to the people leaving or dying. So let's say the number of people in a region as the difference, because we have a difference there, in immigration and births, and of the deaths or leaving the country, and that's during the first month. Was increasing, or yeah, it was increasing by 3690 people. Okay. So that's what that interpretation is. Now, what about R2? Because that's what it asked for in the next one. Well, here the difference in the decrease in population and increase in population is equal to R2. So from the second, or yeah, because it's going to be from second to the fourth month, the population decreased by 9720. All right. Well, probably I should probably say instead of increasing, this is probably increased by. All right. So here, B. So the difference, or the number of people. I'm just going to start with the difference in the decrease in population for all reasons, and increase is equal to 90 is equal to R2, which is 9720 people from the second to fourth month. Okay, so I had that much of an increase of people, and so that's what it's going to be. And so which is decreased by, I should say, I guess I didn't put that in there, did I? Decreased by 9720 people. Okay. All right. So that's kind of how you have to interpret graphs. Now, C, calculate the change in population from the beginning of January through the end of April. So, January, February, March, April. So that's the whole thing. So let's write that down. So we're going to go for C, we're going to go from 0 to 4, and we're having more of the or we're taking, what is it? Okay, so we're going to take I of x minus d of x. So the increase minus the decrease dx. And so that was going to be our 3690 minus our 9720. And if we subtract those, that's going to be 0, 3, I think it should be 6030 people. Okay, so it's going down. Negative doesn't look so good there. Maybe we'll make it a little bit better. And so that's going to be the decrease that overall happened in that population from January through April. So now D, I think there was a D, it said, explain why the answer to part C is not the sum of the two areas of the regions. Well, again, this is part of it's going to be an increase, part of it's going to be a decrease. And so if you just take and add those two areas together, that's going to be the total change, adding plus subtracting. Whereas, we are looking at the difference, how much did it increase by how much did it decrease? So let's see, how do we want to write that with all that explaining? The two regions, I guess, region 1 and 2 represent different things. One is an increase in population, and that was our R1, and the other is a decrease in population, and that was our R2. All right, and so basically the other one, we're taking a positive and taking off a negative, and so we get a negative, and the other one is the total area. And so y C is not equal to B. So, and so when we add the signed areas, that is a subtraction. And when we add, that just gives total area. Okay, so the signed area gives us the actual difference. The total area is basically all the area that's shaded together. Okay, so that's kind of the difference there. All right, so let's pause there and then we'll come back for more.